Hi everyone, I'm going to demonstrate a talk. I gave this talk originally in Singapore Buddhist Fellowship. This is their Buddha, lovely Buddha Rupa. I was standing in front of the screen at that time and was able to perform some minor miracles. It's a miracle that my iPad worked and that was set up. The complexities and all. I remember this appearing on, they had two big screens and it was like, wow, it's something that the Buddha did in real life. I can only do it on special effects. So this talk is to be based on the Sigala Sutta, and it's a guidance for life, particularly when it comes to addictive patterns to do with chance, the roll of the dice, the turn of the cards, the excitement of winning a race and putting money down, and the ruination, those kind of highs, whether it's fruit machines, casinos, and it can even be like stocks and shares, which is not exactly unlike gambling. So Sigala Vada covers a great many things. Sigala is a person, Ovada means advice. Hence the shocks. Right, so let's move through with all good grace and favours. And here we go. The planet, our home. Peaceful, green, blue, cooling, naturally ordered. However, we can mess it up for ourselves in a number of different ways if we're not very careful. This talk is about advising you how to stay away from paths that will take you down into debt, down into disorderliness, down into disharmony, down into decay and decline. We could have a happy life, or a life which looks back with regret. That leads to a life which is very hot and bothered, troubled, high pressure, disturbed life. The oven, sorry, I don't want to laugh at that, it's not funny when it happens to us. When our mind gets heated, enraged, inflamed, we have this current inflammation. Well, the mind can get full of inflammation and then for the body will get inflamed as well. This sutta, Sigala Ovada, it's in the Digha Nikaya, the longer stories, the 31st of them, covers all these different aspects of our life. It's divided up into the compass and above and below, north, south, east and west, and the zenith and the nadir. When we're young, we're particularly impressionable and often needing guidance. So Sigala was a young adult. He was seen by the Buddha worshipping the four directions, and the Buddha advised him on ways to be more sure, to gain security and therefore to honour his parents. That was the reason he was bowing these different directions. There's 151 items of advice that are timeless to this day. They still stand up. 2,500 years ago. There is a little disclaimer here that let's just say that the suttas 151 or so elements are a vast network, huge. We couldn't be able to use all of them, cover all of them. So for clarity and depth, one main element has been selected here, and it's been focused on. And through that focus, we can see how the social and emotional links are interconnected, and you can understand the complexity and subtlety of this teaching. We see the power of the Buddha's timeless wisdom through this contemporary real-life story. It's going to be set in the city of Singapore, if you like, the country of Singapore. Family life, education, relationships and social life, work life, and the spiritual life are all covered. The organisation I was talking to that time, Buddhist Fellowship, had organised into these different areas a big conference aimed at the youths, the silver generation, parents, and also professionals. Youths finding balance between worldly success, spiritual growth, professionals striking a balance, parents mindful parenting for a better future, and the silver generation where it's never too late. And as you can see, this was back in 2017. So here were some writings that they had written when they got in together in breakout teams. The chakra meaning wheel. So there's different issues that people see themselves as facing. So the Buddha warns the young adult, Sigala, of the dangers up ahead in life. The word used for dangers is adinava. Now let's look at this. The Buddha gives a warning about Apaya, Mukhani. Apaya, Mukhani. We're going to examine some of these. Now, Apaya, this means separation, loss of property, or a lapse, a falling away in conduct, a transient state of loss and woe after death, facing ruin, conditions leading to destruction, and the causes of the loss of one's possessions, whether material, emotional, social, or spiritual. Apaya. The Apaya Bhumi is something that Buddhists try to ever avoid. That is the meaning of stream entry, is to enter a way of life and understanding wherefore you'll never enter that. Mukhani is the entrance way. And not only that, it's the opening specifically, in this case, of a furnace, a goldsmith's smelting pot. Apaya Mukhani, the causes of ruin or loss, or it's the opening to the hell realm, or the disturbing realm, or even the furnace, the opening to the furnace. See how that works? So there are many meanings that are inferred here. Degeneration, debt, disintegration, disappointment, destruction, disrepair, disrepute, decline, dangers, and depressions. How many of us would like to end up like that? Less, I think. No one desires this. When we're 50 years old and above, what advice and warning would we give a 17-year-old us? irreversible results, vice, vicious circles, also deeper meanings of samsara. When we kill, it's irreversible. Stealing has irreversible results. Sexual abuse has irreversible results. When we lie, it's irreversible. When we slander, it can't be brought back again and rubbed out. Harsh speech, irreversible. When we gossip, when we take drugs, there can be serious consequences, or alcohol, which can lead to any of these many other things. Idleness as well. Wild reveling, really wild reveling, this is meaning. And gambling, which we're going to look into. Gang fighting. How many of us would like to end up like that also? Sorry, it's not funny, is it? Somebody's life in the breach of their virtue there. Good, so let's move on. On the other hand, the bright side, happiness, happy families, healthy generations. The bright side of good community, which is wealthy. Good community which is integrated, has integration, not disintegration. Being constructive rather than being destructive. Sustainability rather than debt and decline. Good reputation, building a good reputation rather than a bad reputation. Safety rather than danger, as we said, adinava. And how many of us would like to end up like this, for example, in the bright side of life, the bright side of the road as well. So mindful living means not wasting your time, not losing your energy and money, staying away from bad habits. A young adult, this is a quote from it, a young adult is peaceful and is secure, who has, from the Sigala Sutta, stopped 4 vices in conduct. 1, they've stopped killing life. 2, they've stopped taking anything not given. 3, stopped sensual misconduct, and 4, stopped abuse of speech. 4 vices in conduct. Not misled in 4 ways. 1, not led by fear, not led by greed. 3, not led by hate. And 4, not led by unawareness. We're going to focus on gambling. It says, be careful of not wasting away money in 6 ways, by alcohol, drugs and intoxicants. 2, hanging on streets at late hours. 3, going to wild revelling festivals. 4, gambling. 5, bad companions. 6, the habit of laziness. This symbol of the moon getting brighter or waning, waxing and waning, of increasing in brightness or getting darker and darker, is used throughout this sutta as a simile for what happens when you upkeep virtuous behaviour. Gambling. This is a real life story, and I have put in the Hokkien and English some subtitles. The original is in English and also includes some other things there.
Hello.
Aha. I don't think it's going to play in this format unless, let me try it again. Let me just let it auto start without forwarding it to the next slide and see if that works. Excuse me, technical glitch, just a moment. Let's see if it works on. Okay, this time. Okay, let's see if it'll just play by itself, or we'll get the same thing again.
Hello， 隆重的 brother sister uncle auntie， 我是歌台一哥王雷，大家好，大家好，大家好。今天要跟你讲一个故事，不是电影的我们的故事哦，是林北的故事。这个 video 你不要关掉哦，你关掉你一定会后悔哦。林北5年级本未毕业，就出来社会打拼。什么西工我本捌做过，一个月9日工900几块，哇！去到迄巴萨真的五花八门啊，真正闹热的地方。尤其是拜六个礼拜一到啊，跋马的人啊，坐放高边店的人啊，是枪枪滚。
四号起，三号地，三号地，三号地，四号起，红灯，三号地，三号地，红灯，红灯，红灯，三号地，三号地，三号进去了。比如叫你看那么多，西洋啊！
啊，一帮朋友坐咧拉高边，伊讲：小的，今日有买空头报名格兰迪啊！什么叫格兰迪？格兰迪就讲包走头名的。我先去做工啊，一日马路20几块，伊叫我甲公司话20块。我真係唔甘咧，20块，然后输掉我规工拢白做了。迄阵为了面子，袂使漏开，20块安怎本着甲挖出来，甲拼看卖？安尼准，伊才买走头名。20块我竟然会使赢700块转来，700块咧，是恁爸正好的9日工咧。我去做啥物工？其实啊，跋筊的人啊，嘛踮咧食白粉的人相像。时间一到无去跋，是死白艰苦。食白粉的人着调，因人会知影；跋筊的人着调，甲因人唔知影。我有啊，因人无承认家己输甲死白食力了，但要安慰家己，卖放，卖放，爱来了，爱来了，对无？对。哎呀，买定你手啊！其实啊，跋筊的人吼，算小隆重，计是袂一个。因人会使为着赢100块，输几千块，输几万块，拢总无拉塞。
你手啊，又是3条船。
你会知影安怎我人会着调无？因为我人隆重计想我家己是赌神。赌神来了！什么是赌神？就是赌到神经病。为什么会神经病呢？就是这边输了，搁再出去外口撞来，搁再夹来这边，搁再输了，搁再出去外口撞到对了，搁再夹来这边输个了，这边输个了，搁再出去外口撞，搁再来夹来这边输个了。你看，你们是不是觉得我们是神经病呢？赌神做不成，我们就做赌圣。赌圣来了。赌圣是什么？就是赌到连内裤都没有剩。歹势啊，我无穿内裤，唔敢徛起来。是，有时阵跋筊嘛会赢，安怎赢女拢是别人，输女拢是咱人。你想来去信袂？人输甲真正来情景，一定会去找亲戚朋友来讲一句话。娘大龙啊，大龙伊甲斗酒落买一摆，我拼个落买一摆，我爽吧，我无我赢都当我本钱就好。到最后。因人看到你，嘛将去看到鬼。人无办法了咯，无变着去找神了。我什么神拢拜，新加坡、马来西亚13州的神我拢拜甲了。我有神拜甲无神，连树头、石头我拢拜了。你讲你眼博，我感觉你无比恁爸甲眼博。你会知我眼博甲什么坎上无？阮某举蕊裤啊去买牛奶粉，互买你食。你会知影无？迄个买牛奶粉的蕊，我举去买12支输掉。安迪哥啊，我连种啊知代志我本做会出啦，一个袂煞的哦。 这人交因上重要是啥物？交因手指对无？我连我交阮某交因的手指，我本价去断掉。我买80块，我去断50块。我本价去博死拉米，博个输掉啊！啊，阁有一项代志，我从来毋捌讲，我惊我讲出来，我见笑。我希望你能听到我这个故事，家己有闲想看卖一下。6年前，我老母着cancer，倒放老滚厝。我当厝的钟点，看到我老母的肚胃未记管，我着要去甲伊管。我看到肚内底有泪，我着用你肚内底摕了2000块。我袂使讲牙啦，牙是讲骗话，我是偷。阮老母大帮老阮厝，你看，我求心去跋筊，我跋到一半钟点，阮大兄打电话给我，甲我讲阿妈袂使了，叫我赶紧回去老阮厝。你半路，我拿我笔出来看，我剩24块，我2000块输甲剩24块。我赶到老阮厝的时阵，阮老母已经看白无了。我突然感觉佢真正激心，我发现到家己老爸也做无好，囝也做无好，兄弟也做无好势。我为了跋筊，我六亲不认，我老母一路来真正跳啊！伊死了。恁爸家己欠啊，规身躯扯。我突然感觉己想，真的想对阮老母去死，我楼顶跳落来，我一了百了，嘛毋是好咯。明仔害厝内人，结果呢，是安尼过啊！你厝的人就会甲你替你担这条代志的。你的某呢？你的囝呢？我甲知，我厝的人发现到做个着这代志。我查某囝甲我讲，爸，我人全家人是爱你的，只要你卖跋，我人全家人会使甲你斗下手。这个时阵啊，我忽然间发现到，我其实我输甲什么拢无了，结果原来我输袂了，真的我输袂了，因为我看我厝内人伫我身边，人鼓励我，叫我从头起来，搁再徛起来，爸，你做会到的。我查某囝甲我讲一句话，爸，你做会到的。我家己本家己，其实我已经无路了，袂赴了。一头少，一头欠，一头少。我17岁，我跋到50岁，我跋33年的巧。礼拜8赢，这姑娘咧跋，根本是咧拼本。我的某，我的囝，人从来毋捌跋筊。因人这种气人，落一堵真大堆，人跋一堵真大堆，因人用爱来保我性命。第2天， 我甲伊做大主讲，我所做的古代的类全部交互我的某，莫交还我。因为我无博，我就无输嘛。我无输，我就累春啊。我就使慢慢将做笑，慢慢清，慢慢兴，慢慢清。结果无欠阿弄了咯。我查某囝死白强啊，伊去开一个口，我出类会使入去，袂使举现类出来。举伊做角会使去签买物件，签食物件，就是袂使举现类出来。我的囝也袂输伊哦，伊看我无古代景点，就有闲的景点，拖往全街口去食泰国餐、日本餐、韩国餐。我感觉我逐礼拜本是咧慰劳咧，毋是咧过年才会使慰劳。普通你一家慰劳本真爽诶。因人啊做是无爱互我头脑有机会去想跋筊，但是上重要是家己的心爱定。你无跋就是无跋了。叫人讲一句话啊。小赌怡情，我他妈的，其实全部是在骗人的。其实啦，小赌是 training 大赌啊！唔相信你听看麦，小赌怡情，大赌无情，烂赌绝情。两个，我往你做会到，你打对做会到啊 ！Steady 啊 ，Steady 啦！
All right, let's move forward. So what do we learn from this video about the dangers that were forewarned by the Buddha in Sigala Sutta with his penetrating insight so long ago that we can still apply right to this day in every modern time? About social life. Good friends avoid him. Bad companions. Home life. About family life. The daughter was affected. His son was affected. His mother was affected. And his work life. There was income debts. His self-esteem was affected. His education abandoned. His wife and his marriage were affected. His partner life. He had anxiety. He had suicidal depression. Misdirected. Or no spiritual life at all. In the Sigala of Ada, we see that this advice that there are young householder these 6 unhealthy consequences from indulging in gambling that affect social life. Good friends avoid him. Home life, family life, well, the daughter is affected, the son is affected. In home life, the wife is affected. There are young householder these 6 unhealthy consequences indulging in gambling. 1, the winner is often hated. 2, the loser grieves lost wealth. 3, the loss of wealth. 4, their word is disregarded in a law court. 5, they are despised by his friends. 6, they say, "You're a bad person to date." Again, there's this. There are young householder these 6 unhealthy companions which will lead to bad consequences. 1, the gambler. 2, the immoral playboy or playgirl. 3, the drinker, the drug user or drug dealer. 4, the swindler. 5, the cheater. 6, the bully or the savage gang fighter. Associating with all of these kinds of unhealthy companions will lead to bad consequences. Remember back, how did it all start? There was that scene when he just was a delivery guy. He didn't have these associations with his companions. But he saw them, getting excited, and he wanted to get in. He associated with the gamblers. It said in the Dhammapada, drop by drop, evil is accumulated. And drop by drop, good is accumulated. Dhammapada verse 121. So one should not think lightly of doing evil, imagining, a little will not affect me. But just as a water jar is filled up by falling drops of rain, so also the fool is filled up with evil by accumulating it little by little. And the following verse, 122, one should not think lightly of doing good, imagining, a little will not affect me. Just as a water jar is filled up by falling drops of rain, so also the wise one is filled up with merit by accumulating it little by little. Small acts can lead to accumulating negativity. Small acts of restraint can lead to great positivity. So how did it all start? He said, just like that I was hooked. One of them said,
guarantee
like this.
guarantee 就講包走頭名嘅。
He prompted him.
我正做工啊，一日馬路20幾塊，伊叫我間公司話20
He was on
塊。
low income.
哦，真係唔甘咧，20塊，然後輸掉我規工攏白做了，迄種為咗面子。
Because he didn't want them to look down on him. That sense of inferiority, of keeping up with others. Okay, so it's just from that one start of associating with the gambler, and because he didn't want them to look down on him. So we've also got that inferiority in there. Then it leads to being despised by their friends and relatives.
歹勢啊，我無情來靠，唔敢徛起來。是，有時陣博繳嘛會贏，安怎贏鐳攏是別人，輸鐳攏是咱人。你想來去新聞？人輸甲真正啦情景，一定會去找親戚朋友來講一句話。娘大龍啊，大龍伊家倒手落買一擺，好拼個落買一擺。我爽吧，我無攞贏都等我本錢就好。到最後，因人看到你嘛，將你看到鬼。人無辦法了咯，無變就去找神。
And there we have it. So the family getting totally frustrated by his addictions. The loss of wealth, and they are despised by their friends. The one is often hated, and their word is disregarded in a law court, and they say you're a bad person to date, and the loser grieves over lost money. How true is this in our real lives, in our everyday work? So we're talking about how it affects the family life, the social life as well. Relationships and family life. Just one of the factors of the 151. They are despised by their friends, repelled, pushed away as if by anti-magnetism. So parents, mindful parenting for a better future, see how it affected his relationship to his mother. He had money that was supposed to be used for milk powder for the baby, but it was indulged. And he lost it all, just on this thrill. Even he pawned his marriage ring. See how it affects every quarter of life. And this is how serious and far-reaching it is. These dangers are always potential, and we can take lesson from this one, how it goes out to affect other addictive tendencies and threats and dangers, which we may also not be aware of personally, but we may encounter this in our in-laws, second distant relatives. In 5 ways, young householders should a wife, as the West, be ministered to by a husband, from the husband to the wife, by being courteous to her, by not despising her, by being faithful to her, 4, by handing over sufficient authorization to her, 5, by providing her with ornament, decorations, adornments and ornaments. This creates good relations. 5 ways, young householder, an offspring child should minister to their parents as the East, thinking, having supported me, I shall support them. 2, I shall do their duties. 3, I shall keep the family traditions, the good enough ones, the good ones. 4, shall make myself worthy of my inheritance. And 5, I shall offer alms in honour of my departed relatives. In 5 ways, young householder, an offspring child should minister to their parents as the East. To remember this, that the passing of parents is something everyone will see. In this case, he has to live with the memory that he was stealing from a mother who had cancer. In this case, stealing is involved, one of the 4 vices in conduct. That the 4 misleading ways, 2 of them, one is to be not led by greed, and the other is to be not led by unawareness. So gambling is always putting your money on something that is greed-driven, and it's something you can't know about. You don't know the actual outcome. There's no skill. It's on chance. By the time it came to make amends, his mother was already gone. In 5 ways, young householder, an offspring, a child, should minister to their parents as the East. Remember this based on the compass points. Having supported me, I shall support them. I shall do their duties and keep the family tradition, make myself worthy of inheritance, honour them with offering alms. If these in the world exist not, neither mother nor father will receive respect and honour from their children. If the parents are not generous, if they don't give sweet speech, helpfulness to others, and impartiality as the case demands. So if parents are miserly, if they use harsh and demanding speech, if they're not unhelpful, if they are unhelpful to them, and if they are biased and have favourites, this will lead to not having respect and honour from their children. He sees himself as having been a terrible father. In 5 ways, young householder, the parents, thus ministered to as the East by their children, show their compassion. They restrain them from evil. They encourage them to do good. They arrange training for them for a profession. They arrange for a suitable wedding. At the proper time, they hand over their inheritance to them. And as a parent to their children, his or her children, 1, when they are not able to restrain themselves from evil, not able to exemplify good, not able to arrange training for them for a profession, not able to arrange for a suitable wedding, and has no inheritance to hand over to them, just a mountain of debts. So we're looking at the case there, the reverse case. In the case of the gambler man, he feels he has let himself down, that he had been also a terrible son. He'd been a terrible parent and a terrible son to his mother. $2,000, he had lost everything. He'd been a terrible brother. His siblings always hassled by him. He was always begging from them, always craving and trying to get, until everyone was completely fed up when it happened again and again and again and again, creating more and more trouble for himself and therefore others. It's a reminder of unhealthy consequences indulging in gambling. Often hated, grieving at the lost money, the actual loss of money and resources. Their word means nothing to people. They are despised by friends, say you're a bad person to date and to marry. So all kinds of spin-off problems. This man Wayne Lee is not even here as a Buddhist, you know this. He is a human who has experienced great suffering, and so have those around him. A life, 33 years, and how much torment, how much misery, and misery that was attempted to be solved in ways that just created more misery. So these endless cycles and connections. So remember, the Buddha gave a warning about Apaya, Mukhani, the mouth way or the entrance way to hellish conditions. He was right, it led to separation, loss of property, those lapses, the falling away in conduct. This Apaya means a transient state of loss and woe after death or during life, facing ruin, leading to destruction, and causes of the loss of one's possessions. Apaya. Mukhani. The opening. It's also used as an opening of a river, where the river enters to the ocean. Mukhani. In this case, the opening of a furnace or a goldsmith's smelting pot, or the mouth. It's also called, used both for the mouth, which is used in meditation parlance for where to concentrate, or the entranceways to the nose. But Mukhani. Degeneration, death, disintegration, regrets, destruction, disrepute, disrepair, decline, and dangers. These are readily apparent in people's lives or our lives close by. This is the fragile nature of human life. It can lead to despair, that you could even become suicidally depressed. Impacting on all areas of our lives. Not only our lives, everyone around us, the community at large. Home, education, social, temple, and workplace. Where we really want to experience these things. Happiness, generation, healthy, harmony, wealth. We want to experience fulfillment, integration, mindfulness, and well-being. To be constructive, to be sustainable, to have a good reputation, to be safe. In this case, he had good friends in his family. We can look into the meaning of good friends. In 4 ways, young householders should a helpmate be understood as a warm-hearted friend. How? They guard the heedless friend. 2, they protect the valuables of the heedless. And 3, they become a refuge when you're in danger. And 4, when there are commitments, they provide you with double the supply needed. In 4 ways, young householders should one who gives good counsel be understood as a warm-hearted friend. 1, they restrain one from doing evil. They encourage one to do good, and they inform one of what is unknown to oneself. 4thly, they point out the path to heaven. Remember this comment, they stopped me.
我查某囝甲我讲，爸，我人全家人是爱你的，只要你卖跋，我人全家人会使甲你斗下手。这个时阵，我人间发现到，我其实我输甲什么拢无了，结果。 原来我输袂了，真诶我输袂了，因为我看我厝内人伫我身边，人鼓励我，叫我从头起来，搁再徛起来，爸，你做会到诶。
So you see the effect that the daughter's goodwill towards her father gave, giving good counsel, and the kind of support that she gave. Encouragement. That can be the power of good family, standing by. Thank you everyone for your time. Take this lesson to heart. Lead a mindful life. Stay safe.